All right, starting at the in progress. Ledger app not supported. We had Aaron, you were going to introduce Eric Passmore to start the engineering contact with the Ledger team. Is that still in progress?
Yep, I have talked to the Ledger team earlier this week and passed along the email address that Eric gave me to initiate contact. So that is in Ledger's hands, and I don't know if they've reached out or not yet.
So I created the email for Eric that he wanted, and just to test it, I have myself on there. I can drop myself off. I haven't seen an inbound email from them yet.
All right. So I shared it with them in their Discord, where I've been coordinating with them mostly. So they should have it. Whether or not they've acted upon it sounds like they haven't.
Is this priority enough for us to take the initiative and reach out to them, or is it the kind of thing that we're comfortable letting them dictate the initial time frame?
Oh, we gotta be pushing on this, guys. Losing Ledger support and just getting put in some sort of a beta ghetto is not a good look.
I can ping Eric. Does Eric have a contact he can reach out to, Aaron?
No, I don't believe so. The only direct contact I have with them is through this Discord server. So
yeah, I mean, most serious operators are essentially using some sort of Ledger hardware solution to manage their stuff. So that includes exchanges, any sort of liquidity providers. I mean, we lose official support from Ledger. That is not good from our ecosystem at all.
Right. It also, I mean, it's a stretch goal, but message. I'd really. Oh yeah, no, it has to be. We have to figure that out for sure. I actually think we should be talking with Satoshi Labs on getting Trezor on board too, because that's sort of the other OG serious tool for as a hard as a cold wallet.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
Great. Any other
comments? I don't know if we have any connections there.
I can ask. I'll find out.
All right.
Can we add Trezor? Can we add the Trezor hardware wallet to this, or should that be its own?
Let's do it as its own task. I think this is more of a priority, and
right.
If we don't have bandwidth of ENF side to solve this, then I'm willing to dedicate some engineering time from us to see like whatever needs to be done to get this resolved.
Right. But we'll never be. This is a good example of what the power of the coalition. We'll never be as convincing to them as we are as 4Chains, right?
For sure.
So, yeah. And Trezor is TRZOR, and it's the company is Satoshi Labs.
TRZOR.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, TREZOR.
Yeah. I did just leave another message for the Ledger team. I just pinged them just in case they missed the original message. So
yeah, Eric.
Hopefully they will reach out soon.
Sorry. Eric just confirmed they have not reached out to him as well. I checked with him personally.
All right.
Thanks.
Good. Oops. There we go. All right. Adding new chains to the coalition. So real quick on this, what happened here was when I originally sent out the doodle, all of those time slots were available for Eve. basically by the time we tried to resolve it at the end, all of his slots were booked up. However, he needed to, as we discussed, he's not here right now. So I will send out another doodle. One thing there's actually two things. First of all, my first idea is not only this, but there's going to be a lot of topics that we need to get key people involved for discussing things. Is there an hour that everybody can block out every week? And that at the beginning of by Friday, I will fill that in with the topic du jour that we need. So instead of playing this game, we can just go, yep, our Tuesday scheduled slot, this is the topic we're going to talk about, and make that a working meeting as opposed to this one, which is a much higher level status meeting that's covering broad things. Just curious. If not, we can continue the doodle process. But again, if people are not responding to those doodles, within 24 hours, they're almost it's not working because people, everybody gets response.
I think that the approach to having a weekly meeting is going to be at a regular time is going to be far more efficient for us. And certainly almost every week we'll have something that needs to be discussed in depth. And hey, if there's a week that we don't, hallelujah, it's an extra hour we get back to that. That is.
Can we just do an hour before this meeting starts? So we just kind of loop, we just have all E&F work on one day.
Good.
I think that's fine. And assuming everybody can do that, I'll get confirmation, of course, from Eve. And the first hour will be, again, working more of a session. Deep dive into a specific agenda item, or maybe two.
I have a weekly call before this call, but
I'm looking at my schedule now. I think I can do open.
So I can do pretty much every day at 11, except for Wednesdays.
Yeah, same for me. Exactly the same. I can do every day except Wednesday.
Every day, 11 PST, except for Wednesdays.
How's Tuesdays?
Tuesdays are faster Finality weekly call.
But it's faster Finality is 1 hour after that. I mean, here we're talking about
we're doing 1
p.m. Eastern, right? We're talking about 1 p.m. for that one.
I'm sorry, I'm talking about 11 a.m. PST, which is exactly the same time when this meeting starts on Thursday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
sorry.
That's what I understood.
I apologize.
Yeah, he's not available at that time. There's a all company meeting he holds on Wednesdays. So on Wednesday, he couldn't do that.
No, Tuesday is that's the time for IBC plus fast finality instant finality calls. So I cannot do it. I can do Monday or Friday, I guess.
Friday works for me.
I think he tries not to make recurring meetings on Mondays because of U.S. holidays and stuff like that, but he probably has that time open because he tries not to do recurring meetings there.
I can do Monday.
Why don't
right after the web?
Yeah, Monday's good. What's a holiday?
Exactly. He does. Well, Eve doesn't take them. It's just other people take them.
He's considerate. He's a considerate man.
Not me.
Yeah.
Not me.
No.
He doesn't look like he has something 1 to 2, but not 2 to 3. So it looks like he could do 2 to 3 on Monday, 2 to 3 p.m. Eastern.
Oh, hang on. So that's
11 a.m. Pacific.
Yeah, the same time zone. Okay. Yeah, I can begrudgingly do that.
So Eve,
that works.
Eve should be able to do that. At least he has a whole next week.
Let's do it. There's only so many times it's going to work that are going to work for everyone, and this is one of them. So let's do it.
That does look like it works for him.
This is perfect. Again, what I will attempt to do is after these meetings, the status meetings, fill in what the topic will be. And if there is no topic by Monday, then the meeting is canceled. You all get free time back. I just don't see that happening hardly ever.
No, that's great. I think that's a great solution. We don't have to do this so much. And for the benefit of the people watching this meeting, we could probably move on from scheduling.
All right. Monday.
Yes. Thank you, dedicated viewers. My hat is off to any non-coalition person who is actually watching all these. So, Easter egg.
There's many more than you think.
I'm glad. It's actually fantastic.
All right. Good.
I just scratched my head. I wouldn't be here if I didn't have to be.
All right. Get that. All right. Reprioritization of top development items. I'll just give everybody a quick update. We'll come back to P2P in a second because there's been some movement on this. The other ones, the smart contracts tooling, RAM limitation, provable state domains, those have all moved into essentially the more detailed requirements development stage. I don't have an estimate back on how long that will take. So there's really no additional update there. Ted, do you want to take a time now to talk about the P2P differences between the current RFP versus the last one?
Sure. I think I discussed it a little bit last week as well. The previous RFP for P2P rewrite had two major components to it. One was automated peer discovery. So it was like a network plugin upgrade, although it was going to be done in a different plugin. And then the second piece was swarm download, so more like BitTorrent. The bid came in very high. Eve felt it was too expensive even for the coalition to work on, and the duration was long, 9 months to get all of the code done. Plus, we had asked for a 3-month support period of the code afterwards. So what they did is they came back and said, why don't we break it into first network discovery? And we've also tightened our RFP process where we've asked we want to know the exact amount of hours, the rate of each person per hour, whether they put in since it's going to be a fixed bid contract, whether they put a padding rate in, something that other teams just automatically supplied. And we didn't get that level of clarity in the original feedback from OCI, although I was able to drag it out of them through a follow-on meeting. So this is just going to be for peer network discovery. So when a person brings a node up, it has a list that helps it find its peers, get up in the network, and start the P2P process. And then later we'll do a separate RFP if the appetite is there from the coalition for the swarm download. So we believe from early analysis that this will be about half the duration. So it should be about 4.5 months if it were to be done by OCI, and probably around half the price. We do know that there's a university in China that has raised their hand that said they'd like to be involved. They likely don't know the code as well as OCI. So there's that to be determined once the RFP goes out. But that's the major change in the RFP. Jeff, did you share it, the latest in the Telegram group? I know that didn't give people time to read it, but
I did. I did.
So it's in the Telegram group now for you all to read, and really now focuses on the peer network discovery portion. And that will be the smaller, so it'll be shorter in scope and less cost. And from what the engineers have said, the three principal engineers, this is the more delicate part of the code that probably needs the rewrite most. And of course, there'll be a lot of benefit if we do work out a swarm design to follow on. But this code is is actually pretty brittle, and it is a good time for this to be redone. So any questions on that? And you have it to read in the Telegram group as well.
One general logistical thought. Since this is really a subsection of the RFP that was previously reviewed and approved months ago, it would be great if we could release this RFP on Monday, but I do want to make sure everybody has time to review it if you are going to review it in depth. I'm putting it that way because if you're going to approach it potentially as, well, if it's less than the other one, then I'll skim it, then maybe I would say, hey, just take the next 24 hours to do that, and then we could get this moving. But again, I'm not pressuring. This is a logistical thing. If you feel that, no, you really need to take the time to put into this, you don't have the time between now and Monday, then that's a point I think I'd like to talk about right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think your point, Jeff, about the fact that it is just a subset of what was already approved by the coalition. If you could trust us enough to know that it's just the first half of the two parts that were in the last one, it should make the review a lot simpler for you. We have ensured that's what it has distilled down to.
Personally, if it's a subset, I don't need a lot of, I will probably give it a cursory read. But Jesse might give it a deeper read for TELOS. I don't know. What do you want? Do you want more time, Jesse?
I probably would be pretty cursory. The P2P is just a little outside the scope of my specific understanding. What was the date that we were speculating?
I guess the options are, if you guys would be willing to just, vote in the Telegram group by Monday, then we could get the thing moving sooner. Otherwise, we could wait and just have a full vote next Thursday in the normally scheduled call next Thursday. And so it would just be a week. That would give you a week to look it over, and we would do a formal vote on the call.
Next Thursday would be great because honestly, I'm going to distribute this to our VPs, especially Stan from EOS Amsterdam, to take a look at and get his feedback.
Okay, yeah, great. And had you done that with the previous one? It was also public. He could have looked at it.
Yeah, I've done with some of it, but I'm not sure with all of them.
Okay, yeah, because he'll see if he's seen the previous one. It's just a subset. But I saw he asked a question on the Antelope Dev group today about are we considering swarm downloads, which would be a follow-on thing. So that made me believe he might not have seen the original one.
Yeah, okay. I'll have to follow up with him then, because I did ask him to review some of these, but again, I don't remember anymore.
Sure. Okay, so this will be on the agenda for next week. Great. All right, next item, the Secure Smart Contract Library. So the question, this actually comes to you, Douglas, because we made a very big point that you were traveling and not as available last week. But if you have had time, or when will you have time to review this? Ted and I did meet with the vendors. I posted into the coalition channel a fairly detailed breakdown of their rate structure, the hours they assign to each item, and then or each task, and then which tasks rolled up into which deliverables. And actually, they even said which deliverables would be in each milestone. So I think we really just need you to review it.
I will. Is it okay if I review that this weekend and get a definite answer to you on Monday, or do you need it sooner than that?
So I think that's fine. I think what's more important is for you to be thorough and comfortable with the decision, because you and Ted are essentially representing the coalition on this.
Yeah, that's why I asked for that amount of time. But weekends are my overflow for things like this. I don't have scheduled meetings most of the time, so I'd be able to put the time in on that. If your goal is to have it done by next meeting, so I can give you my definite feedback 1 week from today, then we could also do that too. Obviously, more time.
I think so. My suggestion would be, let's try to do this asynchronously, because we are a little bit past the posted schedule.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean. You guys have already reviewed it. You've posted your thoughts, and I just need to go through that, make sure that your thoughts align with mine, as is usually the pattern. Pull out any points that I have concern about, which, I sometimes do. And, I can do that. Why don't we say we'll get that for sure and be all ready by next week on this call, but I'll aim to do it and have it this weekend and have it for you guys sooner. But there's no call necessary. You guys have thoroughly documented anything I think we would talk about that, the rest we can just do asynchronously. Good?
Yeah, sounds good. Unless anybody else has a problem.
Sounds good.
Great. Yeah, I'm sorry my schedule delayed things. Wait till December.
All right, developer onboarding and development workshops.
So, this is in my area. Again, OCI failed to schedule the meeting. I was waiting. I gave them 5 slots this week, and they reached out to me, finally today saying, hey, do you still have a time at this, when, I gave them the slots Wednesday, Thursday last week, and then they're reaching out on Thursday, to say, do you have any of those slots available? So they're ready to talk with me. And again, that they didn't schedule again. They haven't scheduled for, I'm available all next week, and they still haven't set a time slot up. I think the problem on their end is they want all of these VP level people in their company in the meeting, and they're having a real trouble getting those people all to get the calendars together. They don't have anyone that can actually glue those calendars together. And so it takes them a week to find out that they're all available at 4 p.m. on Thursday or whatever it is. And by then, my slot is gone. So you heard me give them that feedback pretty directly on the call today.
I did.
I do also have another call scheduled with them next week on Thursday. So it was supposed to be a bit earlier than that, but it got pushed back. So again, next Thursday, I'll talk to them, and I'll update the group if anything comes out of it.
Thank you.
See, next Thursday, that's the 3rd. Yeah.
Yeah, the 3rd. Yeah.
All right. Sounds great. All right. IFIBC.
Okay, so things are finally moving forward on that front. So I believe essentially Bucky has been assigned to the review of the IBC contracts. So he reached out to me I think yesterday, and I shared all of the relevant information, and he was expecting to be able to possibly start this week or early next week. So and I think the estimate is a few days, like something like 3 days for the review. So that should essentially be I'm expecting this review to be complete sometime by the end of next week, and that is essentially the last. second to last hurdle before releasing to mainnet. The other question is essentially the IBC governance questions that we have to discuss. So these are the two main things that we were waiting for. We also have now confirmation that the auditing team is ready to perform the audit. So the timeline is essentially like waiting for the review from ENF first, and then once that's done, send it to the auditing team, and by the time that this is done, we should have been able to answer the questions related to the IBC governance, and hopefully sometime in November be able to deploy this towards the coalition mainnets. So that's the update for the milestone number 1 for IBC. Milestone number 5 for the combined IBC and IF is essentially the release of the basically like the proof server API, as well as what we call the light proof DB, optimized data store to store the intermediate states of Merkle trees at all block heights. So this was a milestone scheduled for next month. We completed this week. So essentially, we've now started engaging with block producers, with several block producers teams to try to get it tested and reviewed. And we'll be posting more feedback on that as we gather it. So we've got essentially like it's right now there's 3 components to it. It's Firehose server, the Lightproof DB, and the proof server itself. All of the 3 together are also available as a Docker bundle. So for people that don't necessarily want to run Firehose independently, and that are not necessarily like all like very technically savvy, they have that option as well. So this has now been open sourced and is available for testing. So if anyone from the coalition chains want to participate in that testing phase, just reach out to me. Happy to point you in the right direction. And we're also planning at some point to also support state history plugin for that one. So from these 3 components, basically Firehose is you can swap it for you're going to be able to swap it for ship, and essentially the whole solution will work with either of them. So that's for milestone number 5. Now for instant finality, we also completed with the one that was milestone, I believe, number 4, which is essentially like specifications and mathematical proofs. We're going to be meeting with ENF engineering to review it next Tuesday, and that is about it. So that's pretty much it.
Awesome. That seems like it's going along pretty well.
It is. Very, very excited about that stuff.
All right, Aaron, quick update on SDK.
Sure thing. We are rescheduling the meeting right now. I guess that's first and foremost for everybody that's involved. If you want to be in that meeting, there's a doodle running in the channel right now. I'm probably going to try to schedule something either tomorrow or over the weekend, depending on the date, based on when most people are available. And then that will be our new reoccurring time slot. We kind of rushed to get the first meeting scheduled, and I don't think everybody had a chance to respond. So we're just opening that window up and reevaluating. Milestone 1, we completed. We kind of reviewed it on the call. We've been going back and forth with you guys, Adam and Jeff, to kind of talk about the completion of that, get that set up. Another thing that we'll be talking on the next call is we have shuffled some of the milestones around a little bit. The architecture and working through that has kind of clarified the order of operations that a lot of this stuff needs to be done. And so that's why we're kind of proposing a change to the ordering of things and potentially some renaming. We can talk about that on the next call for that. as far as actual work goes, we are currently working on the new milestone number 2, as well as milestone 8, which these numbers may have changed and the names may have changed, but number 2 is kind of the core that we need to expand off of for everything else. And number 8 is the branding for the project. We just had a design call this morning, and everybody seems to really like the direction it's going internally. So I'm really excited to share that stuff, but we're kind of holding off until we can show the name, the logo, the color palettes, kind of the meaning, the ideas, the themes. We want to like include it all in one, as well as some mock-ups, sort of like the Antelope branding process went through. So we want this to be something that the community latches on to and is like, oh yeah, there's this thing you can use and this is what it's called. And just be a recognizable staple of the developer community within the space. So we're all excited to be getting our hands dirty with some code. That's what I had to pull myself away from to come join this meeting. And we're excited to keep pushing on it. So it's coming together nicely. It's been years of planning and thinking of this thing, and now we're executing on it.
Very cool. All right, let's see. Document Antelope Work Group. I believe this is still on hold. Is that correct, Ted?
Yes.
Okay. And there's one announcement that Patty asked me to provide. She said we are very close to finalizing all the brand deliverables for Antelope. A word will work to close out, and we will publish the guidelines to the website. She did not include a specific date, but other than very close. Nothing to discuss on that, or if you do have questions, you can direct them to Patty. But I've done my duty and passed on the message.
I'm in that group as well. We are very close. I mean, they're giving us deliverables. I feel great confidence that that'll be done in by the next meeting, if not in the next few days.
Very cool. All right, so this one I will just close out as done because the announcement was made. Any final items? We've got 6 minutes left. All right.
Now let's use those 6 minutes.
Yep, absolutely, everybody. Thanks for coming in. They definitely appreciate everybody setting aside some time. I think that's going to make our offline meetings much more efficient and productive. And otherwise, I will talk to you guys Monday.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great weekend.
Thanks, everybody.
Have a good one, guys.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye.